How much content do you own? Now, what I mean by that is, out of all the different platforms and places that you are putting your content right now, how much of it is actually going on something you control? Now, this was something that I was kind of late to the game, but it was something that Ben Settle had drummed into me from reading his daily emails. And he kept saying that if you are hanging out in somebody else's platform, you don't actually own anything there, and at any day I could turn up to Facebook, I could turn up to Twitter, LinkedIn or whatever, and they could lock me out and they could keep my content because they now own it. You know, it's funny, there last night I was just putting a couple of images on Instagram. It's something I've gone back to recently, not because I'm trying to be a big influencer or anything like that. It's just sometimes it's fun, maybe me just to create a couple of memes or take some photographs and kind of play around with them and just throw them up there. But it's funny when you actually throw up a couple of photographs, in a matter of a minute, Instagram has their ads between that. So they are using content that I have created, that I have sat down, maybe 5 or 10 minutes taking a photograph, maybe using a couple of filters on it, or maybe coming up with a great idea for maybe a quote or something like that. But I have put it on their site. But they've taken that now and they are using my content to sell advertisements. You know, a big eye-opener for me was when I was reading a couple of months back. There was some book, again I can't remember the name of it, I'm awful kind of remember names for books, but this person had said that people, or kind of 3 companies that he had mentioned. Now again, the third one is slipping out of my head right now, but he had mentioned 3 of the largest companies in the world didn't have any assets. Now, one of the ones he had mentioned was Uber. Uber does a kind of ride-sharing scheme, but they don't own any cars. And again, Facebook was another one that is a kind of content platform, but they don't make the content. Everybody else makes the content, and all they do is they slot advertisements on it, and that's it. So I want you to think about that today. All the content you're creating, whether that's videos, whether that is memes, Instagram posts, or whatever it is, or Twitter, or whatever platform you're putting all your content on, how much of it do you really control? What would happen if maybe Instagram shut down your account today? It always makes me laugh when I see an Instagram influencer say, all of a sudden I had 1 million followers and I was making maybe 10 grand a week or whatever, and now it's all gone. And the reason it's all gone is because they had stupidly built their business on somebody else's platform. So I just want to make you aware of that. If you are maybe late to the party like I was and didn't wake up from that kind of matrix dream we were in, Facebook owns your content, Instagram owns your content now, all those different platforms own your content, and they are just using you to be a content creator for them, and then they are making money on the advertisements. So if Facebook locked you out today, would you be able to get your hands on that content? That's one thing I always say, that you should have your content on as many platforms as possible, but especially have it on your own. That's why when I'm creating these videos, first thing I do is I upload this video into YouTube. Again, it's the cheapest way and the easiest way for me to host my videos. But I take my videos, I put them on YouTube, then I go over to my blog, and again I put the video up there, and again I put the video up on Facebook. But I try and have it on as many platforms as possible, but the most important one, and the one I always go to first, is my own, because that's something I control. That's content that I can use in the future. That's content that if Instagram or Facebook or whatever kick me off the platforms, I always have that content on my site. Now, you can argue, well, what happens if YouTube locks you out and you can't get in? Well, a lot of these videos I actually have a backup copy of them, and again, in some of the cases I have the transcripts from the video. So that could be another thing you could do too, if you are putting content on YouTube, is to at least take the transcriptions of it, so you can always use it for a blog post, a report, or something like that in the future. Or maybe download some of your videos and put another copy of them away on a hard drive or a Google Drive or whatever, so if the worst comes, you always have that content. So again, how much content do you control? How much content do you own? Or does everybody else in the world own your content but you? And if that is the case, maybe it's time to rethink that. Maybe it's time to take more control over your content, get it back on platforms that you can control, have backups of it if something does go wrong. But when it comes to advertisements and selling advertisements, why give it all over to Facebook and Instagram and all over there? Why not advertise on your own blog as well too, and make money from the content you're creating? So think about that today. That's a little thought for the day. How much content do you control? So, as always, if you'd like to ask me a question or you'd like to ask me to cover something in the video, you're very welcome to reach out to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find out where all these articles, videos, podcasts and everything else I create, other than Facebook and Twitter and Instagram or whatever else I'm on at the moment, the one place I will tell you to go to is the name of this podcast and the videos, which is WriteCome. If you head over to WriteCome right now, we have a great free report which is going to show you 10 different ways you can make money from your writing. So if you'd like to take that out, test it out, pick one of the ways to, whichever one in the report kind of stands out to you, or is it something you would like to try, download the free report, give it a go, try it out, and let me know how you get on with it. But again, how much content do you control? So as always, thanks for sharing your time again today. Have a great day. Bye bye.